as soon as I read the script, I was drawn to the character, obviously. I just felt like it had been like a role that I was always like meant to play in a way, and I felt like the script was just, it was really unique. It was original. It's an original story, which is like kind of rare in studio nowadays. For me, it just had a lot of things that I love in a movie. It was sort of a mix of genres, and I felt like it could be something that was very unique and cool and sweet and funny and scary and all at the same time. So I was like, I'll do it. In the beginning of the film, when you meet my character, he's living underground in a bunker, which humanity is sort of all kind of gone down into these protective like bunkers that were, built to keep people safe when the apocalypse hit and the monsters sort of took over the surface of the earth. And so he's kind of like the youngest one in his bunker. He's sort of like the ninth wheel in a way. Everyone's kind of like older and is coupled up, and he's kind of like the runt of the bunker a little bit, and wants to be a hero so bad, and wants to find love so bad, and is sort of a little scaredy cat in his own way. He just like is so incapable of handling any kind of. He wants to be brave more than anything, and he really like just can't find it in him, and it's just it's sort of like his goal to like to one day like help and to protect and to find Amy, who is his girlfriend from when he was a kid, and he's still is longing for, essentially. Joel and Amy reconnect over the radio at one point. He's able to sort of like call around to every colony in existence and like find the one that she has ended up at, and she survived, and they've kind of like gotten back in touch in a way. It's been 7 years though, and he just sort of reaches this point where reality sort of hits. They lose another one of his colony members is killed in the bunker. The attacks are getting more severe and more prevalent, and they're like less able to withstand these attacks on their bunker. And it's sort of like in his head, just a matter of time before life's going to be over, and he realizes that he doesn't want to, I guess, end up alone and end up without love. He's never gotten to fully experience that. He never got to like finish this journey with this person that he started with at a young age, and so he kind of just realizes that he needs to go for it, or he'd rather die trying, because he's going to die anyway eventually, just alone in this cold bunker underground. He wants to try to find love, in the amidst the end of the world. It's very dangerous. Like, no one survives on the surface. That's essentially, Joel's taking on an impossible journey. Even trained groups of hunters, can't survive on the surface. It's like sort of like anything and everything can and will kill you out there at this point. So it's what makes his journey, all the more impossible, and what makes his like surviving it all the more hilarious. Clyde and Minnow, I mean, they end up saving his life multiple times, even after they part ways. Sort of just like, there's a mantra that Minnow teaches Joel that ends up, there's like several mantras, I think, that end up saving him, and just everything they kind of like teach him about the surface and about certain monsters come into play eventually and help him even long after they're gone. So they save his life the whole film, basically. He couldn't be alive without Clyde and Minnow. Anything and everything just like helps Joel in this movie. Like, he definitely doesn't get through it all by himself. And Boy's his right-hand man. I mean, Boy's the first person to save Joel on the surface. And they become a team, Boy's lost like his owner in the apocalypse, and sort of is just like constantly searching for her still. And Joel is like sort of in need of like a partner, and they kind of, it's like this perfect marriage in a way of you know, a kid who's like kind of in over his head, out on the surface, overrun by monsters, and a dog who's sort of like the experienced one, kind of, you know, showing him the ropes. The sand gobblers are pretty cool because they react to sound, and so you can't really move, and they kind of like, they kind of live underneath the earth and kind of just can come up and kill you. The hell crab's gotta be one. The leeches I like, that's an underrated one. The bullfrog is great. I love the little eyes on the bullfrog, and how he uses his tongue to kind of, you know, sort of like lasso his prey in. Yeah, I don't know. It's the, you know, that's such a fun part of the movie. Even just like, that's a fun part of making the movies. Like, there's still going to be so much to fill in. Like after I've gone and we'll come back and eventually see the film, like half of it's still not even there. So that's part of the fun of like making something like this and seeing that whole side of the film, which is such a huge aspect of it. You know, see that world come to life. It'll be cool. Michael just totally got the movie, just the spirit of it and the energy of it and the heart of it. From the get-go, like I remember being sent, you know, his materials on it, like really early on, just how he saw the film and how he was kind of pitching, how like his vision for it. And I remember it was really amazing. He sort of did it through like from the perspective of Joel in a way. He kind of created the world like as the character would in his way, like in his journal. You know, it was sort of like his whole vision for the film came in this journal, and it just made it come to life. You know, I just think it was, you know, it's. I always felt like his sensibility for, you know, all the blend of genres that will be this movie. You know, it's a tonally like a tough thing to kind of balance it all, and I just felt like Michael was so good at kind of always keeping that in check, which is like the hardest thing to do when you're shooting a movie over the course of 2-3 months.